Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. So what we're actually doing in this video is actually changing out the exhaust. Now, you guys may be scratching your head. You guys know that I went on a little bit of an exhaust escapade. I tried different types of exhaust with my setup just to find the perfect tone and perfect exhaust for me. And ultimately, I ended up settling on the AWE Touring. And for anybody that doesn't know, I'm running the Killer Bee equal length headers, which you can kind of see down there. And I'm also running the Grimspeed Limited catted downpipe. So I tried a few different exhausts out there, comparing them, seeing which one I liked better. Now, one of the reasons why I chose AWE is because it's interchangeable. And what I mean by that is the rear section, the axle back, the muffler, whatever you want to call it. There's two different versions. There's a Touring, which I'm running right now, which actually has the large mufflers underneath. I don't know if I'm going to be able to really get the shot. You can kind of see them right there. But what those actually do is it takes away basically all of the drone, quiets it down a little bit, but it's still loud when you want it. So when you're on wide open throttle, it's pretty darn loud. It's actually pretty impressive how loud this car gets with those giant mufflers. And around town, when you're just cruising, it's very tolerable. There's no drone. I've been so happy with the setup. Don't get me wrong. Don't think that I'm sick of the Touring. Don't think I don't like it anymore. Don't think that, you know, it's garbage or anything like that. I'm simply just wanting to try the track version of this to see if I like it a little better. Now that I got a lot of time on the car with this exhaust, you know, I was able to kind of get out of the honeymoon phase and let that fade away and really get a good opinion of what I thought of the Touring. Now, like I said, I still love it. I still think it sounds good. You know, after spending time with it, I realized it took a little bit of the bass away. It doesn't sound as aggressive. It sounds a little hollow. It doesn't seem as aggressive as it used to be with the previous exhausts, you know, with the Cobb and the Delta Motorworks that I was running. Had some really nice bass tones to it. And the AWE Touring, I feel like it kind of took that away a little bit, which is okay because they're two different setups. They, you know, have different sounds and everything. But I'm really, really curious to see what the track sounds like on this setup. And plus it'll be good for you guys, for anybody that is interested in, you know, hearing both on equal length setup. So I'll be able to do a comparison video for you guys as well, so you can hear which one sounds better to you, and you can make your own assumptions from there. Now, you can buy it brand new, just the track muffler part from AWE, or basically from any vendor that sells AWE. And I think it's around 285 bucks, which is extremely reasonable. But I put a want to buy or feeler out there, you know, for anybody local that may have that actual piece, that track muffler. I wasn't looking for the tips or the mid pipe, just literally the rear pipes. And thankfully, one of my followers and subscribers had one who is local. So he's actually dropping it off to me tomorrow night. So we're going to be installing that exhaust tomorrow. And then, you know, I can do some startups and everything. I can show you how to install it. Very, very simple, but you know, we can do that in this video. Then I'll do a separate video of the exhaust sounds and driving and everything, so you guys can get a good idea of what it sounds like on this setup. So the video will actually carry out into tomorrow, but I filmed a few clips over the weekend. I'm doing some random things on the car, in the garage, just some little things that I figured I would fill you guys in on. Nothing too exciting, but I wanted to put them in this video just to kind of keep you in the loop so you guys know everything that's going on, and just kind of what I did this weekend on the car. So I'm going to throw those clips in here, and then I will catch back up with you guys tomorrow once I pick up the muffler. We'll install it and see how it is. So check out these clips real quick. All right, guys. So if you saw my last video, you know I was having trouble getting this axle nut off. It was on there crazy, crazy tight. So the only option that I was thinking of was getting a stronger impact. So today we went to Lowe's and we picked up this bad boy. I was going to get a Milwaukee or a Cobalt, but the Milwaukee and both the Cobalt were not available for whatever reason. I wanted a 1/2-inch impact that had, you know, over 1,000 foot-pounds of nut blasting torque. That's what they call it. And this is the only one they had. I was reading some reviews and everything, and Flex is a pretty popular brand, and, you know, I had a lot of good reviews. So I picked it up. It was $2.99, pretty expensive for this thing. But honestly, I've always needed a really, really strong impact. So I decided to pick one up. Now, I know the socket, you should use some impact sockets, but this is all I have right now. And guess what? It came right off literally in like 4 seconds. So this thing did the job. Really, really happy with it. So now we can get the titanium nut on the front driver's side that I wasn't able to get on the other night because I was trying to take this nut off manually with a breaker bar, and it wasn't moving at all. And that was simply because I explained in my last video that I had that axle replaced about 3.5 years ago. The boot was split open. It was spewing grease everywhere, so the dealership replaced the axle. So they put this nut back on. It wasn't from Subaru, so they probably used, you know, an air impact, and, you know, zipped it on like obviously 1,000 foot-pounds. So got it off, really happy. So now let's get this one on. So it is the next day. Some bad news. Well, if you guys realize, I'm not working on the car. I don't have the AWE track pipes muffler in my possession. And the reason for that is because the person that planned everything with me, that had one locally, decided to just get up and leave and stop responding to me for whatever reason. We had everything planned, the meeting point and just, you know, what time and all that. And for whatever reason, they just stopped responding to me. You know, I get it. Things come up, you know, whatever. But for future reference, for anybody, this goes for anybody or anything. If you make plans with somebody or you have something worked out with someone, just let them know. Whether it's a yes or no, just let that person know so you don't leave them hanging, because it's just rude, and leaving people hanging like that is just not cool. So luckily, there was another subscriber that actually had another one, so I decided to pick that one up. Unfortunately, they are a little bit further away from me, so it's not within driving distance, so they have to ship it to me. But I purchased it from them, so it will be here in a few days. So the AWE track version of this exhaust is going to be next week. Once it comes in and I'm able to install it and everything and get some videos out for you guys. But unfortunately, nothing is going to be happening with the exhaust tonight because of unfortunate events. But I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop, let you guys know, because everything on social media doesn't always go the way it seems. And that's kind of a metaphor for life in general. If something happens, you just kind of, you know, forget about it, move on with your life and carry on, because, you know, stuff is going to happen. It's not going to go your way. It's just how you handle it is the most important thing. Let's have a little discussion about what's going on with the second vehicle. In my last wash and talk, you guys know that I decided to hang on to the STI for a little bit longer. I had a hard time thinking about this car leaving. So I decided to hang on to this and pick up a daily driver. So in the meantime, I've been doing a lot of research, talking to dealers, trying to figure out what I want to do. And ultimately, I ended up landing on the idea of getting a Toyota Tacoma. And the reason for that is because I've always wanted to pick up. We have a car, we have an SUV, we don't have a pickup. So getting another car like this, 4 doors or something like that, it just doesn't make sense. You know, I want something that I can just haul stuff in. I can bring the kids around. I won't worry about it as much, but it's still a fun vehicle to drive. Now I can go out and just get a GTI or something like that. I was even thinking about a higher mileage Golf R, or, you know, a couple other options as well. But it just, honestly, it doesn't really make sense because it's pretty much, I don't want to say it's the same car, but it's this, it would serve the same purpose. And I really want something completely different that has a specific job to handle my daily driving duties and other things that I can't do with the STI. As we all know, the economy and just the car market right now is absolutely, it's insane. So I'm gonna go over a little bit of an example with you so you guys get an idea of just what I'm dealing with, or anybody in general that is looking to buy a new car, just kind of what they're going through these days, because I got a number today that just blew my mind and I wanted to share it with you guys. So right now, Toyota.com, they have, you know, they'll have random lease deals and everything. And one of the lease deals that they have currently is an SR5 Toyota Tacoma 4x4. It's the short bed with the crew cab, so the 4 doors, pretty much what I want. And they're asking $3,000 down, 10,000 miles a year, 36 months, and they're looking at $255 a month. Okay, that is reasonable. Totally fine with me. I'd be totally cool with that. Granted, putting 0 down on a lease is the best way to go. You know, obviously I would work with that, but I thought that was pretty reasonable, something I can work with, you know, and it's definitely in my price range what I'll be looking at. So I started thinking, okay, let me bump up a trim level. I really, really like the TRD off-road, not the Pro. I love the Pro, but that's just way too expensive. So the next bump up is the TRD off-road. It offers a few different things that I enjoy and that I like. And it comes in a color that I love, which is army green. So I was like, all right, let me bump up a trim level to the off-road. It's only a few grand more. And put 0 down. So basically every $1,000 that you put down on a car for a lease is 20 to 30 bucks off of your monthly payment. So if you figure 3,000 bucks, that's anywhere from 60 to like 90 bucks or so. So in my mind, 255, you know, plus 60 or 90, we're looking at most 350 bucks. Okay, very reasonable, something I can handle, very cool with that. So I reached out to a few dealers. I found some TRD off-roads in the army green, everything I wanted with some nice stuff on it. And I was like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, 0 down, 10K a year, 36 months. You know, what can you do? And I'm going to use this one as an example, as one of the quotes that I got, just to show you how insane it is. They came back to me with $830 a month for a lease. For a Tacoma TRD off-road. What? $830 a month, I can go out and buy a very low mileage F80 M3 and finance it and then own it at the end of the finance. Like what? That is insane. The thing is, obviously the person that I was dealing with, they were actually a little bit embarrassed to tell me that number. They knew it was a ridiculous deal. But that's just ridiculous. I got another one that was $680 a month. Like, that is wild. There is no way that I'm paying that much for a Tacoma, for a lease. If it was for a finance, okay, I get it. It makes a little bit more sense. You know, it's obviously you'll own it at the end. For this, we're paying $6 something a month, and this is a $50,000 vehicle. Meanwhile, the Tacoma was, I think the MSRP on that was 40 or 41. So it's a cheaper car, and I'd be paying more for a lease for something I'm not going to own at the end of 5 or 6 years or whatever. That absolutely blew my mind, and that put a huge damper on the thought of getting a Tacoma right now. And just any new car in general. It's pretty ridiculous out there. And the main reason for that is because dealers, they just can't get new cars in. They're simply just not able to get the inventory that they used to be able to get. Like honestly, you know, a few years ago, you would say, oh, I want this car. They would be able to get it pretty much from any dealer, bring it in, and you can buy the car the same day. Your exact spec, it was somewhere and you were able to do it. But now one of the dealers, he was like, oh, I can order it for you, but it's going to be at least a month, you know, and it's probably going to be around the same price. And it's just crazy to me to think that cars, you know, what they're worth a couple of years ago are literally 2-3 times as much. So what the dealers are actually doing is they're actually purchasing used cars and selling them for a profit. And that's kind of how they're keeping things going, which makes sense. You know, it's an easy way to kind of keep inventory flowing and keep the business going. Even the dealer that I was talking to with the $830 a month payment, they were actually hoping that I had a car to trade in so they can, you know, sell that car and make a profit on that. And I was like, no, I'm not looking to trade anything in. I'm just looking to, you know, pick that one up. And So it was just a kind of a huge damper, as I mentioned, and it really got me thinking. I was like, you know what do I want to do here? You know, I'm not spending that much for a lease in general. You know, obviously I'd rather get something way better for 800 bucks a month. So it really doesn't make sense. And like I said, it got me thinking about what I want to do. I really don't want to, but I might end up driving this through the winter. I may pick up a set of winter tires and wheels just to run it through the winter and everything and not think about it, because honestly, buying a new or used car right now is pretty wild, and I don't want to get screwed over, because a lot of these people that are getting cars right now, you know, they're paying well over sticker on some of them just because they want the car. People have money to burn. They don't care. You know, they just want the car, so they don't care what they're paying. So, you know, once this kind of bubble bursts and people realize that they spent so much on this car, even the house market as well, people are going to be in a bad spot. They're going to be in the red, and they're going to, you know, owe a lot on the car or the house, and they're going to be in a bad spot. So, you know, I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to spend more on a car that's, you know, honestly not worth that in a couple years. You know, I'm looking for a good deal that I can just hang on to for a little bit. So I started thinking, I was like, all right, maybe I'll just pick up, you know, something used, something reasonable. So I started looking at GTIs and everything, and I was like, okay, that'd be fun, but it kind of doesn't really serve a big purpose other than, you know, a daily driver. Yes, it would be fun. Yes, it would be cool. I'm sure you guys would enjoy it, but it just, I don't know. It just doesn't really make sense. For me, I feel like I would just be getting that just to get something, and that's not what I want to do. They're reasonable. I found quite a few for, you know, 20 grand, 22, pretty nice, lower mileage and everything, which I think is pretty reasonable for a GTI since I've always wanted one. But I don't know. It just, honestly, it doesn't make sense right now. So I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm going to be doing a lot of research. Obviously, the Tacoma is still something that I'd really like to accomplish and get eventually, but I don't know if it's the right time right now. You know, I'm just being honest with you guys because, you know, social media and YouTube and all that stuff, people just buy cars left and right. They don't talk about this stuff. They don't talk about the hardships that average Joes like us, what they normally go through. They don't really care about how much things cost. And they just go and purchase it just to make content, you know, and that's not what I'm about. I'm trying to stay relatable and just make you guys understand that I'm one of you. I'm not somebody out here just, I can go and do whatever the heck I want, because that's not the case here at all. So that is where we are at currently with the whole entire daily driver Tacoma second car kind of thing. So I'm going to be doing a lot of thinking. I'm not really sure. I'm even still thinking about selling this and going for something else. But then again, I'd be spending crazy money to buy a new car. So I don't know. It's a seller's market. It's a terrible buyer's market. So no matter what you're selling, it's, you know, you're going to have to be a buyer at some point to get something else. And you're going to deal with all the crap that everyone has been dealing with. So we will see. I will update you guys in the future if I decide on anything, you know, which route I'm going to go, or any route at all. Sorry, this video wasn't too exciting. It was more just of a chat. I was really hoping to get the AWE track exhaust on, do an install for you guys and do some sound clips and all that. But unfortunately, as you guys know, things don't always work out as they're planned. So we just got to go with the flow. But that is all I got for you for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions at all, any suggestions about cars or anything like that, that may be of interest to me for a second car, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear them. But in the meantime, keep it clean, keep it simple, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.